Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We're reading from Bhagavad-gita as it is, chapter 17, entitled The Divisions of Faith, text 14. Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shochamarchavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapauchyate. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Purport. The Supreme Godhead here explains the different kinds of austerity and penance. First, he explains the austerities and penances practiced by the body. One should offer or learn to offer respect to God or to the demigods, the perfect qualified brahmanas, and the spiritual master and superiors like the father, mother, or any persons who is conversant in Vedic knowledge. These should be given proper respect. One should practice cleansing oneself externally and internally, and he should learn to become simple in behavior. He should not do anything which is not sanctioned by the scriptural injunctions. He should not indulge in sex outside of married life, for sex is sanctioned in the scripture only in marriage, not otherwise. This is called celibacy. These are penances and austerities as far as the body is concerned. So, today and the following days, we will discuss different kinds of austerities. Yesterday, we spoke something about what is our goal, what everyone wants to achieve. And we concluded that everyone wants to be happy. If I ask you, for example, how much happiness in percentage do you want in your life, what would you say? 108. 108. Everyone agrees? Or if I ask you, how much misery do you want in your life in percentage? How much? 100. 100? Zero. Everyone agrees? Yes. So we want zero misery and 100%, 108%, even more than it's available, of pleasure, of happiness. So this is our nature. We all want to be happy. But it's very interesting. For example, Prahlad Maharaj in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karmana sadapnoti khaya dukkham anikhaya sukhavarta. That those who are seeking material happiness, they take firm vows. Sankalpa means firm vow, firm determination to achieve happiness and to get rid of all miseries. Sukhaya means happiness. Dukkha mokshaya, to be free from miseries. Dukkha means misery. Sankalpa iha karmana. This is their sankalpa, to achieve happiness and to get rid of all distress. But Sadapnotihaya dukkam. They always get just misery. Isn't it interesting? They have firm vow, yes, I will achieve happiness and get rid of misery. And strives very hard with all their strength to achieve this goal. But what they get, always they get just misery. Just misery. Anihayav sukhavata. But those who don't strive for this type of happiness and devote themselves to devotional service, anihayav sukhavata, they're covered, enveloped by happiness. So they don't strive for happiness, but they're enveloped in happiness. They're always happy, in other words. So, this is some secret, isn't it? How to achieve happiness. And true happiness is, of course, as we know from scriptures, is in relationship. I don't know about Macedonian language, but in Slovenian it's very interesting. That sreća means happiness. What is in Macedonian?
Sreka.
Sreka. And srečanje means meeting. How is meeting in? Srigavanje. It's similar. It's the same root, isn't it? So sreča je v srečanju. Happiness is in meeting. That means in relationship. There is no other happiness. And the ultimate happiness is in the happiness as is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Is in the happiness of the abode of love. That means if you love someone and you make him happy, this makes you even more happy. You're very happy if you make someone who you really love happy. And to illustrate this, I will tell you some short story. I tell you many times, so those who follow my lectures, they know it by heart by now. But I love this story, and it's illustrative on this point. It's from Slovenian literature. Maybe someone, because there was Yugoslavia, have even heard about him. Prižihov Voranc. Have you heard about him? No. In Slovenia, you heard about him?
Me?
Prižihov Voranc.
Prižihov Voranc, yes. I learned at
Oh, you learned in school.
primary school.
Oh, yes.
Prižihov Voranc.
So one knows. So I'm not making it up. So he was writing a short biographical story about his childhood. And he said that once he heard conversation between his father and mother, and his mother said to his father that next day she would love to go to the church and beautify, ornament the Mary's altar. But she would like to bring to the altar very small little flowers, white flowers. In some dialect of Slovenian, they're called little tears. And so she said to her husband, to his father, that she would like to bring these little tears, who are very sweet smelling little flowers.
Mumina Solza. That's the name of the flower.
How do you call it?
Mumina Solza.
Momina Solza.
Moma is a girl.
It's girl. Oh, maiden's tears.
That's very little white.
Yes, yes.
And very fragrant.
Very fragrant.
They are like this,
Yes, cluster. in clusters. Yes.
With big.
Yes, it's a very nice smelling little flower, and grows in spring. But she said, nowhere can be found these maiden's tears or little tears, except in one deep dark valley, small closed valley called hell. And this boy was frightened of this hell. Many times father sent him in this hell to herd sheep and goats, because in the summertime the grass was very dry outside, and inside of this hell, because there was one brooklet flowing through this valley, the grass was very moist and nicely grown in the slopes of the hell. So, but because he was so frightened of this hell, many times he escaped from the hell and he was punished by his father. But the next day, when he heard this conversation, he ran before sunrise, in complete darkness practically, into this hell, which was even more darker than surrounding Hare Krishna. And he was terrified, because he expected that any time some devil will come and drag him away. And he ran to these maiden tears or little tears and started grabbing it at them. And when he had full bunch of these flowers, he ran out as fast as he could. And then when he was approaching home with a bunch of little tears, maiden tears, he saw his mother. She stepped on the threshold of the house, and just at this moment there was a rising sun, and the first rays of rising sun were illuminating his mother. And this was the most beautiful scene in his entire life. He remembered for whole life. And he ran to her with this bunch of little tears and gave her to ornament the Mary's altar. And she immediately understood how great sacrifice he performed, because she knew how terrified he is of this hell. And but for him, this was the most happiest day in his life, because he made happy someone who he really loved. So my point is, in order to achieve this kind of happiness, this happiness grows in relationship. But in relationship, we have to do some sacrifices all the time. And as it explained in Bhagavata-gita, in the beginning, even in the 3rd chapter, Yagyartat karmano nyatra lokayan karma bandhana tadartam api kaunteya mukta sankak samachara. That all sacrifices should be done for the yagya, and this is the name of Vishnu, of the Lord, for the Lord's sake. And thus will always be free. But if we do it for any other purpose, even to make our mother happy, we'll be just bound by this material world, and therefore we'll suffer. As Krishna explains throughout Bhagavad Gita, there is suffering in every step And more we are attached to something, that we also explained yesterday. Yehi sansvarsha bhoga dukkha yona evati adyantavanta kontena teshura. Those who are intelligent, they don't strive for this type of happiness, because it has its beginning and its end. And more we are attached to something, because we are always become attached to something that brings us happiness, because as in the beginning we established this, that every one of us want to be happy. 108% of happiness and 0 misery. And if something we consider that brings us happiness in life, that this thing ends, we suffer terribly. We don't, anyone who is sane in his head doesn't want that thing that makes him happy, that will end. It's contradictory to our nature. So if we try to find happiness in these material circumstances, even material relationships, will be miserable. Therefore, Queen Kunti even prayed, Atavishvesha Vishwatman Vishwamurti Svakeshumi Sneha Pasham Idam Chindi Dridam Pandishu Prashnishu. Please, my Lord, cut this attachment of mine to my relatives, to my sons. Dridam Pandishu Vrishnishu. To Pandus and Vrishnis. Who are Pandus and Vrishnis? The most intimate Lord devotees. And she said that this is Dridam Pasham Dridam. Very strong rope of attachment. Please cut this very strong rope of attachment. And Tvayi Mananya Vishaya Matir Madhupasti Sakri. Rati Mutvakatatata. Gaugabam Gaudam Vasi. And please let my attachment flow only towards you, like river Ganges. That nothing can stop this river Ganges. Nothing can stop. Even if some big boulders fall into the river finds the way around, under, over, some way or another to come to the ocean. So my attachment, let be, as river Ganges flows towards the ocean, let my attachment flows only to you and not be diverted to anything else. So yes, and therefore these austerities that Krishna explains here, 3 kinds of austerities, because we have 3 days. So we can discuss 3 kinds of austerities in those 3 days. First austerity mentioned here is the austerity of the body. And is explained in the commentary of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his commentary to Upadeshamrita, to the first verse. Because first 3 verses of Upadeshamrita are also explaining what is beneficial for devotional service and what is not beneficial for devotional service, and who is considered to be a bona fide spiritual master, and what goal we should strive to achieve in this our relationship to material world. And he explains that there are 3 kinds of different pushings in our life, or tendencies. And these are tendencies of the body, speech and mind, as here also Krishna is explaining about the austerities of body, speech and mind. So these first austerities of the body, and all these austerities, of course, are meant just to develop this love for Krishna, to get out of bodily consciousness. Because consciousness is what is important. Usually people, they don't want to change their consciousness. They want to change some material circumstance. This is very easy to change. Of course, if you don't have so much opposition from other people. There is very usually politics come in. And we can see on every field of existence there is different politics. So more our consciousness is material, more we'll be engaged in some kind of politics, even in our family life, on every level of existence. So therefore, it's crucial for our spiritual life to get rid of material consciousness, of bodily consciousness. Yes. And therefore it's easier to stick to rituals. But Prabhupada didn't establish the International Society for rituals for Krishna, but for Krishna consciousness. And this is important, to develop our consciousness. If we don't develop our consciousness, we are complete failures in spiritual life. Yes. So even if we worship Krishna ritualistically, and we associate with our devotees, but if we don't go deep and we don't change our consciousness, we missed the point. Yes. Because Krishna is Saragrahi. Sara means the essence. He doesn't want empty rituals. Majority of us, I believe, we escaped from this ritualistic kind of religion, or empty life, because also atheistic life is just some rituals. You go to job every day and that's it. This is some kind of ritual. And you do, I don't know, meeting with friends every Friday and some kind of ritual. Just everyone is caught in some rut, as we say, in some ritual. Yes, but we should get out of rituals, and therefore these austerities are necessary, because we have to become Goswami, not go dasa. Go means senses, and these senses are many. Also, one speech, we can say, is one of the senses. Yes. So, back to this verse. We haven't even started to discuss this verse. This was introduction to our, maybe you may call it seminar. So yes, Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shocham Arjuna. Krishna enlists different things that are austerities of the body. And first he explains that we should worship the Lord, Deva. It also can also mean, in translation, Prabhupada says Supreme Lord. In commentary, he also explains that it can be also demigods, because 17th chapter begins with Arjuna's answer in question, because Krishna in the end of 16th chapter says that those who don't follow Shastra, they cannot achieve any kind of perfection, they cannot achieve any kind of happiness, and they cannot achieve the supreme goal. Yes. Yeh Shastra Vidim Utsrijya Vardati Kamakarta Nasa Siddhim Avapnati Na Sukham Na Paramgati Tasmat Shastram Pramanamti Karya Karya Vastito Gyatva Shastra Vidamuktam Karma Kartam Ikharhasi. Because one cannot achieve anything without following Shastra, therefore Shastra is Pramana. Pramana means that you know what is truth and what is not. And on the basis of Shastra, you perform everything you do. And so Arjuna asked in the beginning of 17th chapter, Ye Shastra Vidimutsija Vartate Shradayambita Teksham Nishtaktuka Krishna Sattvam Ahora Justama. So those who don't follow Shastra, what kind is their faith? Is it in goodness, passion, or ignorance? And then Krishna explains that everyone has his own, either in goodness, in passion, or ignorance, faith. And in this connection, that would be demigods, because he explained that those who are in sattva, they worship demigods. But if we, because sattva is very close to Shuddha sattva, then we can take it to understand more deeply philosophy of bhakti. We can take it as Supreme Lord, as Prabhupada put in the translation, and also the translation of words. Yes. So that we understand this circumstance here. So here it's very important to understand that human being is a living entity of worship. We all worship something or someone. Even most ardent atheists are worshippers. And as explained by Krishna in the beginning of 17th chapter, that those who are in rajas, they worship who? Demons. They worship demons. And demons, as explained in 16th chapter, and in also Padma Purana, practically the same verse, are those who are not devotees. As simple as that. Those who are devotees are divine, and those who are not devotees are demons, are asuras. Yes, Krishna says that there are just two kinds of people in this world: Deva, Asura. Yes. So they worship demons. That means non-devotees. Either some politician or sportsman or whoever. We can hear conversation, and if they glorify someone, this is some kind of worship. This glorification. And they always glorify someone and criticize some other people. This is usual gossip, as we can say. But about gossip we'll speak tomorrow. So, yes. Everyone is worshipping someone. So Krishna says, okay, you should worship, but you should worship the Supreme Lord. This is one thing. And you should worship the Brahmanas also. Because Brahmanas are those, should be those, who know what is Brahman, what is spiritual existence. And only by knowledge of spiritual existence we can even develop desire to achieve spiritual existence, to make difference what is material existence and what is spiritual existence. So Brahmanas should be also worshipped. And of course Guru. Guru is one who gives us knowledge. And not just knowledge. This is very interesting point of Guru. Because we can say, I can read Bhagavad-Gita and I get knowledge. I can read Bhagavad-Gita as it is, by Prabhupada's commentary and purpose. And I can read his Srimad Bhagavatam, and I can read Nectar of Devotion and Nectar of Instruction, and so many books. So why should I accept a guru? I can accept Prabhupada as my guru, isn't it? And there are cases who are speaking like this. It's not just some theoretical imagination. We have living cases. And but Krishna established this system. Acharya mam vichanya navan manita karhichit namartya buddha suyata sarvadeva mayo guru. So he says, I am the Acharya, I am Guru. Never be disrespectful towards me in this row. And we know when we sing every day Mangalarati, Sakshat Hari Dhanasa Shastra. All Shastra says that Guru is Sakshat Hari, and that is Krishna himself. Yes. So this Guru Tattva is very confidential. He's Jiva and he's Krishna himself at the same time. Because as explained by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also, that Guru is one. There are not two Gurus. Guru is one. Guru is Krishna, who comes to us through transparent via medium, who we accept as Guru. But we shouldn't differentiate Krishna from Guru. Yes. So Guru is Krishna. And we should accept authority of Guru. If we don't accept the authority of Guru, we want to be number one, as we wanted to be number one for all eternity. Yes, and this is our original problem, that we want to be number one. So if we accept Prabhupada as Guru because he's not here, we want to be number one. It's simple. Who says that Prabhupada accepted you as his disciple? You imagine this, isn't it? Then I can say I'm Madhavendra Puri's disciple. Why not? I'm superior to Lord Chaitanya. Yes. I am God brother of his spiritual master, of Ishvara Puri. So Lord Chaitanya should offer obeisances to me. Yes. Then we can have such crazy ideas, isn't it? Why not Madhavendra Puri? Why Prabhupada? Why not Madhavendra Puri? Can anyone explain? Do you have any argument? Even if you play devil's advocate? No. No one has any argument. Why not Madhavendra Puri? So we should accept a living guru. This is the conclusion. And this is in the beginning, as Rupa Goswami explains. Yes. That we should accept Guru in the very beginning of our life, spiritual life. And also we should be very respectful towards our parents. As Prabhupada also taught his disciples to offer obeisances, to full dandavats to their parents. And parents were completely confused. Once, I don't know who is this, maybe you know, Brahmananda who came.
I think Giriraj?
Giriraj Maharaj. I think it's Brahmananda came to his mother.
Of initiation?
After initiation, I think. He visited his mother and he rang at the door and she opened and no one was there. And then she noticed that he was lying flat on the floor in front of her, and she was completely confused. What are you doing? Yes, he was offering obeisances to his mother. But because this was his guru's instruction. But if guru is not around, how can we receive such instructions? So, yes, we should be, of course, very respectful towards our parents and others, and worship them, pujanam. It says here, worship them. All these, Krishna, Brahmanas, Guru and parents. Then we should be clean, as Prabhupada explains. This is internal and external clean. Yes. This is very important, especially on both platforms. Body and our consciousness should be clean. Many times devotees even don't have clean even ashrams. I can see somewhere, I won't mention, but it should be clean. Everything should be clean. Here it's quite good. I'm pleasantly not surprised. I cannot say I'm surprised, but it's good that it's clean. It should be clean. For Krishna should be everything. As Prabhupada explains, the cleanliness is next to godliness. So we should bathe regularly, and we should cleanse our consciousness regularly. Chitta, Darpana, Marjana. So by chanting the holy names without offense, we should cleanse our consciousness. Because offenses destroy everything. Yes. And just recently I heard some lecture. I don't know who has this lecture. Maybe Katana Bhagavata-dharma. There was some lady initiated by Prabhupada, and she was speaking these 4 regulative principles and also how much chanting, and she said 16 rounds minimum, and then Prabhupada said very sternly, "Why minimum?" Why you should just minimum? Yes. So we should know that Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalau Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva. We should chant. We should devote our life to chanting. This is the only process in Kali Yuga. And it is explained by Jiva Goswami in Bhagavata-dharma. In Kali Yuga, every process of devotional service, other process, worshipping the deities or meditation or any other process, should be accompanied by chanting of the holy name. Yes. So it's extremely important to get attached to chanting of the holy names. This is good attachment. This is good attachment. Yes. Attachment to chant. Yes, and there are also other things. Arjavam, simplicity, is very important. Simplicity. That we don't complicate our life unnecessarily. Because Kali Yuga is so much complication and so much desires. They're expert. They study this in universities. They study how to incite desires in your heart. Yes, this is art. So it's no wonder that we are full of different desires, of undesirable desires. Yes, that means of anarthas in our language. We're full of anarthas because we have these unwanted desires. Yes, and so arjavam is extremely important. This simplicity. Once I heard one very good recommendation for grihastas from Jayadvaita Maharaj. Do you want to hear it? He said that our expenses should be as close to zero as possible. Yes, and this is really good instruction. It is not some fanatical instruction. It's practical. Because if our expenses, as I am speaking to you because I am grihasta still. I have 3 children and a wife, and it's really practical advice, because if you keep your expenses as close to zero as possible, then you are very free. You're not entangled in so much work and in so much fulfilling your different desires. More simple you are, less desires you have, more wealthy you are. Because really wealthy is one who doesn't desire anything, isn't it? If you desire something, that means that you are poor, that you couldn't afford what you desire. But if you don't have material desires, you afforded everything you wanted, isn't it? So you're the richest person in the world. So take this instruction to heart if you have your household or family or material life, to keep your expenses as close to zero as possible. Then everything becomes so easy and simple. And in other words, then this idea of Prabhupada, simple living, high thinking, have some practical frame. Yes, that means for us to keep our expenses as close to zero as possible. Then our life can be really simple. Yes, brahmacharya. This is very interesting topic. Sex life. Everyone in this material existence is enamored by sex life because it's considered to be topmost pleasure. And as we explained, that we are all pleasure-seeking living entities. We want pleasure. So everyone is addicted to sex life. But if we want to get over material consciousness, we have to realize that this sex life is not beneficial for my consciousness. And therefore Prabhupada says that licit or illicit sex is just trouble. Yes. So we should understand first that this is detrimental for my spiritual progress, and then try to remove it from our life, or at least keep it in marriage life, in our marriage. Otherwise, we'll be completely degraded by this sex life, and our consciousness will just go away to sexual pursuits. Yes, and even if we are determined to keep it in family life, in married life, there will be so many temptations, because this is the Maya's snare, the most forceful snare. And yes, there will be many temptations. I remember once from my personal experience, and it happened in devotional camp in Croatia many years ago. I was married and had 2 children at the time, and there happened to be one girl, and there was immediately some attraction. I didn't spoke to her, not even a single word, but there was attraction from both sides. I could see. Anyone can say this. Immediately you can recognize this. And I didn't want to make any connection with her, but wherever I looked, there was she staring directly to my eyes. I don't know how is this possible, but it was. And I could see this is just Maya's trick. Just Maya's trick. And Maya will put us in different tests to test us how determined we are to discard this. We cannot avoid the desire. Krishna, we should know this. We shouldn't count on this, that there will come the time that we will lose this desire. We will never lose desire. Because it is explained that this is a part of the body. Even Prabhupada said, I also have lusty desires, but I don't have time for these things. Yes, everyone has these desires. Even there is one story that one king didn't believe that old people have this desire. And then, I think this is a Birbal story, isn't it? And then Birbal said, I'll show you how even dying man has this desire. Please, there is one dying here in the court. Please bring visit him and bring your daughter with you. And he brought his daughter, and this man immediately, his eyes got fixed on this girl, on this princess. And then the king understood, yes, even the dying man still is under the influence of sex desire. So yes, and therefore Krishna explains in 5th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, Shaknoti heva yaksudun prakshariram mokshana kama krodha bhavam vegam sayuktaksta sukhim nara. That only those who are able to tolerate karma and krodha and other these pushings, these desires, can overcome this. No one else. So he doesn't say that these desires will go away, but we should be Goswami. That means we tolerate these desires. We are able to tolerate them. Tolerate. Just as we tolerate when it's hot, it's just hot. We tolerate. Or if it's cold, we tolerate. So we should become tolerant as a tree. That doesn't mean that just to tolerate insults, but also these pushings, these desires. One of them is, of course, sex desire. And we should be ahimsa. We are too much over time. Is okay for you? Ahimsa is very important thing. Ahimsa means non-violence. But how to be non-violent in the world of violence? In first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Hastani sahastanam apadani chatushpadam farguni tatra mahatam jivo jivasya jivanam. That one type of living entities are prey of another type of living entities. And everyone, in fact, is prey to another living entity. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One living entity lives on the account of other living entities. So how to be non-violent in this completely violent world? It's impossible. Therefore, Shastra, this not that just ahimsa, but in many cases we can see that this explained not ahimsa, not too much violence, because complete non-violence is impossible. But we, as devotees, we understand what is this non-violence. This non-violence is to do everything for Krishna's pleasure. And Krishna, of course, doesn't want excessive violence. But small violence is unavoidable, because we have to survive, we have to eat something. So if we pick up some vegetables, it's of course violence, killing of these vegetables. But we prepare them for Krishna's pleasure, not for our own pleasure. So if we become Krishna's servants, then we are non-violent. Only in this case, because we are not responsible for our action, because we are just servants. It's for Krishna's pleasure, so we are Krishna's servants. So if anyone has to complain something, go to Krishna and complain. I'm his servant. He's my master. I'm just fulfilling his orders. Don't blame me. Go to my master and speak to him. This is devotee's attitude. And therefore Prabhupada also said, why speaking so so with such harsh words sometimes, that these are all demons and so on. He says, I'm not speaking this is Krishna speaking. You see? And I also explained that Krishna says there are two kinds of people, divine and demonic. Nothing in between. So, it's Krishna's words, I'm just repeating. Prabhupada also said this. So if anyone has to complain something about this system, go and complain to my master, I'm not. I didn't invent this system. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam navevi durishayo napido anasida mukhya asaramanushya kutona vidyadara charanadika. This Krishna established Dharma directly. And no one else know what is the system of Dharma. Just Mahajans, that means those who surrender to Krishna, who are his devotees, who are his servants. So our utmost position is to become Krishna's servant. And then we are non-violent because we just fulfill Krishna's desires. So we don't do too much violence because this is against Krishna's desire. So we don't unnecessarily cause any trouble to any living entity. But if there is necessity, we can kill. As Prabhupada also explained, if there is someone who comes to our house and wants to ravage our wife or I don't know who, we can kill him immediately. Yes. Or if someone is blaspheming our guru, we can pull out his tongue and kill ourselves. This is the system, one of the systems, of course. It's not the only system. If we are not able to do this, just don't listen and go away from such environment. Okay, this is ahimsa, not to be too much violent and do everything for Krishna's pleasure. Otherwise, we can be vegan and living on prana only. If we are not Krishna's devotees, we are too much violent. Because by every taking breath, we kill so many living entities. Even by just blood circulating our body, we kill so many living entities. So we cannot avoid killing. So if we are not devotees, we are too violent. That means if we want to practice ahimsa, we should become devotees. Otherwise, it's impossible. And we will be karmically responsible for every living entity we kill. Every germ killed. Yes. Karmically responsible. Yes. And this is the end of today's class. Yes. Shariranta paushati. And it is said this is austerities of the body. So, do you have any questions or comments or doubts? Yes.
My question was that recently I read some Facebook, maybe it's not story like
Status.
not status, it's like something written by Niranjan Swami,
Yes.
and he was mentioning
Facebook post.
yeah, sorry, I didn't remember the word. And he was telling that I'm giving so many lectures and so many people, and I got only applause. And I can see that the devotees are not changing. And you were
Yes.
speaking about the changing of the consciousness. And it's always, not always, but it's most of the time like this. We are hearing that we should get up early in the morning, we should chant our rounds, we should study the books, we should associate with the holy persons, etc. But now we are conscious hearing, and then we'll go out and we'll do the same old stupid things. And I remember one story, I think it was Narayan Maharaj, I don't remember exactly, I think, that when he was hearing his guru, he was always falling asleep. He was hearing him and he was falling asleep, Bhakti Pravin Keshav Maharaj. And then once he went to him and he told to him, I'm falling asleep, I know it's Tamoguna. And he told to him, I will pray for you and we can leave, no problem. And then from that point, he never sleep on the lectures. And my question is, what should we do like devotees to really change our hearts and consciousness? Because we are like, we are doing everything according to the modes of material nature. We know so many things, like you said, we have knowledge, we are, hearing and reading something, but how to make this in practice? Real change of the heart, because we can hear thousands and thousands and still we are not chanting pure holy name, and we are not crying about Krishna.
Yes, this is extremely important question. And it is explained by Krishna in 7th chapter. Jai Shri Gauridai Ki Jai. In 7th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Manushyanam sahasakshu karshatyatati sidaya yatatam apisidanam karshino vedita. Among thousands and thousands of people, only one rare person may, it's not true, may inquire for, endeavor for perfection. And from those who have achieved perfection, there is hardly anyone who knows me in truth. So this Krishna consciousness means the revolution of consciousness. But it's very individual path. We are society, of course, for Krishna consciousness, but it's extremely individual path. No one can give us this consciousness by some magic trick. If we don't earnestly desire it, we'll never achieve it by some miracle. It will not come. So, first, of course, this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, is required, that we at least theoretically understand. But then we should apply this in our life. Of course, this is easier to say than to do, because we are conditioned, as you say, we just follow our modes of material nature. And it's true. But if we really understand, we should start to endeavor for this. Because without endeavor, as we say in Slovenian, there is a Slovenian proverb, without toil, without endeavor, you cannot even put your shoe on. I don't know if you have such proverb. Brez muje se še čevelj ne obuje. It is in Slovenian. I don't know if you understood anything. Yes. So, And therefore we are speaking about these austerities, because these austerities are not pleasant. But and if they're performed just ritualistically, they won't work. This is another dimension which is very sad for us, because we have this tendency to perform something on the surface only, and we count on this miracle. If I perform this, because Prabhupada said, if I just follow 4 regulative principles and chant my 16 rounds, then I'll go back home, back to Godhead, isn't it? And we can hear many times devotees are speaking like this. But this is illusion. Of course, what Prabhupada says is absolute truth. But he's speaking about consciousness, not about empty ritual, that we just do our rounds. Because he created the society for Krishna consciousness, not society for empty rituals. It's about consciousness. It's about consciousness. And if we don't strive for this, if we don't have so much intelligence to realize, yes, I should develop ardent desire, tivra bhakti. It is tivra bhakti. You may have different desires, like Dhruva Maharaj. Akamak sarva kamava moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti-yogina yajete purusham para. If you are intelligent, then you should completely dedicate your life to bhakti, tivra bhakti, intense devotional service. We know from Dhruva's example how intense his devotional service was. Of course, it's for the wrong goal, but because of his intense devotional service, he achieved the Lord. And then he realized that my goal was wrong. So, but even if we have the right goal, if we want to become servants of Radha and Krishna, we have right goal, but if our bhakti won't be intense, it won't be tivra bhakti, we will not achieve it. Because then there will be other things that are attractive to us. And we devote our time, our energy, our meditation to those things. And these are usually material things. Material achievements, material comforts, material enjoyments. So we should know that this material consciousness is destroying my life. And therefore we should pray to Krishna earnestly, please help me to overcome this. I'm completely surrendered to you. And we can have one time, if you said that I can visit you more than just once. We can discuss once Upadeshamrita. It is explained by Acharyas in the first verse of Upadeshamrita that these 6 items, Vacha Vegam, Manasa, Krodha Vegam, are giving up unwanted things in devotional service. This giving up of unwanted things in devotional service is not part of bhakti, but it is part of surrender. Anukulyasa sankalpaka pratikulyasa varjana. These first 2 types of surrender, to give up what is unbeneficial for devotional service and to accept the things which are beneficial. And this is part of faith. And faith makes us qualified for the path of devotional service. It's the only qualification for devotional service is faith. Jata Shraddha Matkatasu. Yes. Yadrichaya Matkatasu. Nirvin Yadrichaya Matkatasu. Jata Shraddha Stehuma. Nanirvina Natu Sakto. Bhakti-yoga Siddhita. Yes. Faith is the only qualification for bhakti. Yes. So, and it is expressed, this faith, in surrender. And then, yes, it's important. This is extremely important. Jiva Goswami says that there are two kinds of faith. One is Shastriya Shraddha, faith in Shastra, and other is Lokiki Shraddha, what people usually believe. And we can see also among devotees many things that just some tradition that are taken as granted, but it's not based on Shastra. And Jiva Goswami explains that this faith in Shastra is transcendental, and Lokiki Shraddha is mundane. And transcendental faith is firm. Nothing can shake it. And it is expressed by great enthusiasm. So if we lack this, we should know that we don't have Shastriya Shraddha, that our faith is Lokiki Shraddha. It's weak, it can be destroyed. Yes, and then our spiritual life is destroyed. And many times we can see devotees that give up the process of devotional service because they don't taste anything. Because we explained in the beginning, this is a really important thing to understand. We are pleasure-seeking living entities. Without taste, we will not do anything. So, but without absorption, we cannot have any taste. We gave yesterday this example. I don't know, you had to play with your child. So I'll repeat it, and I don't know if you were both yesterday. You were both yesterday. Yes. So sometimes happens that we are in a hurry and we have some anxiety and we eat very hastily something, and then at the end we realize that I didn't taste anything. And I believe everyone has this experience. So without absorption we cannot taste anything. It's the same in our spiritual life. If we chant and do other things during our chanting, usually the phone is our ultimate distractor, or any other activity. We cook, we drive, we iron things, I don't know, we speak to other people, other devotees about devotional projects, whatever. If anything distracts us from the holy name, this is not absorption. It's offense, actually. It's offense. Because this chanting of the holy name is the most intimate relationship with the Lord. Most intimate. So it's offensive, of course, in these moments to do anything else. If you have an intimate relationship with your wife or husband, and then you start speaking on your phone, It's an offense. Or do anything else. So, we should just chant and absorb ourselves in chanting. If we don't do this, our spiritual life will be shallow, extremely shallow. And we'll stick because of maybe social environment to our spiritual life, or we'll just abandon it in one point of our life. So we should understand this and pray to Krishna to help us to go deep. If we don't pray to Krishna to go deep, nothing will help us. Devi Hiesha Gunumi Mama Maya Turatya. It's impossible to go beyond Maya on our own. Only we surrender to Krishna. Mam eva ye prapadanti. Mam eva, only to me. Krishna has the power to overcome Maya, not we. It's completely not in our power. But it is in Krishna's power. So if we don't surrender full-heartedly to Krishna, it's impossible to go beyond Maya. But we should understand this and pray from all our heart to Krishna to help us. Otherwise, nothing can help us. Maybe it sounds frightening, but we should understand how urgent it is. Therefore, Prabhupada practically cried. Please understand. Please. I heard one recording, maybe you heard it also. There are so many species of life. Please don't miss it. And he practically is crying, his voice is trembling. Please don't miss this opportunity. Yes. So we should understand. And even if devotees, when they say, I just want to go back to spiritual world, to go home back to Godhead. Usually, what does it really mean? I want to enjoy. And this spiritual word is just another word for heaven. It's not desire for spiritual world, because spiritual world is the world of service. It's not desire for spiritual world. It's just another word that means heaven. So they go to heaven because they have this desire, and they live quite piously, so they can go to heaven, no problem, because they have this desire to enjoy. But we should develop this desire to serve. Jiva Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. We are just Das. And Das, 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 Anudas, says Lord Chaitanya. Naham Vipra Nacha Narapatir Nacha Vaishuna Sudro Naham Varanya Nacha Griha Patir Nova Nastoya Tirva Kintu Proda Nikila Permananta Purnamita Gopi Bhartuk Padakamala Dasa Dasa Dasa. So as long as we identify as I'm father, mother, I'm sannyasi, I'm brahmachari, grihasta, I'm this, I'm that, I'm woman, I'm man, I'm TP, I'm just a new bhakta. As long as we identify with these different roles, this is just upadhis, we will not understand that we are just servants of the servant. And these different roles can give us mission in life. And it's very important to have mission in life. Mission for spreading this Krishna consciousness in our life. Yes. Of course, this is vast topic, but I will not discuss it any further now. Hare Krishna. But it's extremely important. Extremely important to understand and to pray to Krishna to help us. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes? Please.
I want to thank you for your lecture and please excuse me that I came late. You mentioned one of the things you mentioned was worship, proper worship of the parents.
Yes.
So can you explain a little bit what does it mean?
This means that we should be grateful to our parents for they gave us this body, this intelligence that we can surrender to Krishna, that we can understand this, how important it is. So Krishna, even if they are demoniac, because we are living in a society that everyone is demoniac. We ourselves were demoniac if we weren't born in devotional family. Our teachers were demons, our friends were demons, our society was demoniac, parents are demoniac, our brothers and sisters are demoniac. Everyone is demoniac. So, even if our parents are demoniac, but nevertheless, and society and so on, they gave us this ability, this body, which is ability to understand Krishna. And teachers, they taught us how to read, and they taught us even different languages, so we can communicate in English. Because you don't speak Slovenian and I don't speak Macedonian. So this language, this all knowledge we received, and from our parents also we received so much knowledge. We can use it for Krishna's service. And without their love, at least to some degree, there must have been love. Otherwise we wouldn't survive. We would be thrown in the dustbin, isn't it? If we won't be at least to some degree love. Without this love, we couldn't survive. So we cannot repay our debt to our parents. So we should be very respectful. And because they enabled us that we can turn to Krishna, even if they're completely against Krishna. But we received this potency from them only. Therefore, in our heart we should be very grateful, and of course we shouldn't disturb them with our knowledge if they are disturbed by this knowledge. But this we'll discuss tomorrow. It's okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande.